Welcome. In this video, I'm going to cover the pros and cons of buying a second home or investment property in Florida, and specifically the Florida Panhandle. If you want to learn all about this, please stay tuned. So welcome to my channel. My name is Kenneth Rackers. I'm a real estate agent, realtor, and real estate investor in the Pensacola. I also am involved in short-term rentals, building homes, and developing land. Pro number one is national rankings when it comes to affordability and returns. A lot of different sources, whether you look at Rent Cafe, the Florida Panhandle is listed as number 11 in the nation. AirDNA, which is mostly about short-term rentals, kind of Airbnb, VRBO aspects. Of the top 35 of those towns and beach areas are in the Florida Panhandle. And then rented.com, which is more about long-term rentals, has the Florida Panhandle as number 1 on their list in the nation. So pro number 2 is well-known beaches and the entry point to Florida. So most people across the nation have either heard of or at least been to one of the great beaches that the Florida Panhandle has to offer, whether that's the Destin Fort Walton area, Pensacola Beach, Navarre, or 30A. So along those lines, entry for those people driving from the southeast or from the Midwest, Florida Panhandle through Pensacola is the entry point to go to the rest of Florida through Interstate 10. And pro number 3 is favorable laws, and that when it comes to landlord-friendly laws, handling regulation, and overall taxes. So the short-term rental tax on Pensacola Beach, which the area I'm involved in, is a total of 11.5% for short-term rentals like Airbnb. So the area is very favorable when it comes to regulation. There's not a lot of additional licensing and red tape to jump through when it comes to setting up rentals and or short-term rentals. That our area specifically is well known, gained some national attention as far as being landlord friendly when it handles long-term rentals and evictions. Number 4 is growth, and growth when it comes to record numbers of tourism. Even though what's happened with all the craziness of the last couple years, each big holiday weekend across the area has continued to gain more and more people and set record numbers when it comes to tourism. And obviously Florida tourism is a huge part of that and our great beaches. And pro number 5 is tax and financial advantages when it comes to appreciation. 1 year forecast of appreciation for a lot of the areas is certainly double digits. If you go back 1 or 2 years, we've certainly had a lot of appreciation. Diversification between assets, hedge against inflation, and just safer versus some other investments. And then, tax strategies when it comes to savings, depreciation, and, long-term capital gain. Move into the 5 cons, with con number 1 being seasonal. Certainly for short-term rentals, this is much more of a factor. Our busy season being of the weather and the beaches is spring break, March, all the way through really into September. And a lot of the fall, based on weather, is not as much demand when it comes to the beach and short-term rentals. One kind of bonus in this is that if you are more focused on using this a second home or investment property, actually staying in it and using it in the off season, there's a lot of openings typically, and then there are also opportunities to rent to snowbirds and winter use, or when it comes to short-term rentals. And then obviously the seasonal rates or seasonal aspect is not as affected in long-term rentals. Con number 2 is the hurricane and storm risk. Living in this area, in the Pensacola area, in the last 4 years, there's really just been one major hurricane that had a major effect on the area, in my opinion, and one major on me personally. But certainly hurricane and storm risk is a fact that you have to deal with all across Florida, specifically in the Panhandle. The hurricane season is typically, in the warmer months. So as kind of in the July, September, October time frame. And then along those lines, you do have higher insurance premiums based on higher risk. So con number 3 is management costs. And if you're going to have it professionally managed, if you have a long-term rental, you're typically going to be spending somewhere between around 10% for short-term rentals, and full-service property management, you can expect to spend anywhere near 15 to 30%. And so those numbers can cut into your bottom line, your profits quite a bit. And then from a management side, if you're not utilizing management services, and you're not local, there certainly can be management costs and difficulties managing it from remotely or from a distance. And con number 4 is distance. The Florida Panhandle specifically, is up in the far northwest corner of Florida, and it's quite a big distance from many major city areas. The Florida Panhandle has several airports, but not any very large major airports or very large major cities. So managing it, whether you're coming, if you're owning a home from a distance for driving or flying, is can be difficult, especially for driving, whether you're coming from the Midwest or the East Coast or other parts or the west of the U.S. And to wrap it up, con number 5 is economic conditions, and with those we are counting limited inventory, limited options when it comes to second homes, investment properties, rising interest rates, labor supply shortages, and all these other factors. Those are certainly something to think about. And that's a wrap on the 5 pros and cons of owning a second home in Florida, specifically in the Florida Panhandle. Hope you gained some valuable insight. Do me a favor if you did, hit that thumbs up or that like, or subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. And if you have any questions about this video or any other videos covered, or any information about real estate in the area, I'd be happy to get back to you right away. Feel free to reach out, comment, or contact me directly. Comment, phone, call, text, email, whatever works best for you. And thanks for tuning in, and until next time, take care.